All right.
Good morning, everyone who's joining us this morning to learn how to use LinkedIn to pivot your business. This webinar is a part of our real-time solution webinar series brought to you by the Apple Valley, Burnsville, Hastings, Lakeville, and River Heights Chamber of Commerce. Our current series of webinars is sponsored by Doherty Melinda Solfest Hills and Bauer Law Firm in Apple Valley. Doherty Melinda is a great partner to our chambers, and we're grateful for this sponsorship. This webinar will be recorded and made available on all of our partner websites. We want to get to as many of your questions as possible, so please use the chat feature to ask questions, and we'll get to as many as we can following the presentation. My name is Jennifer Harmoning. I'm president of the Burnsville Chamber of Commerce, and our guest speaker today is Jess Tiffany from MNU Digital. Thanks for joining us, Jess. I'm going to turn it over to you.
All right. Thank you very much. Excited to be here. So yeah, I'm Jess Tiffany, CEO of the Marketing Networking and University, as well as MNU Digital, which is our full-service digital marketing agency. So we do everything from, Google AdWords through social media marketing, through graphic design, all that fun stuff. But I'll give you a quick intro real quick here. I'm originally from North Dakota. I grew up there. Met this pretty redhead that happened to move to Minneapolis somewhere in her life. She used to live in Minot, North Dakota also, but so I chased her after we were all done with college and all that fun stuff. And anyway, so she tricked me into moving here. She took me to Lake Nokomis and a bunch of other pretty places and fed me Fat Lorenzo's pizza, and that's all it took. And I was here for since then for about 15 years now. So, and then Amethyst is my oldest on the top corner, Jessamine, this is on the top right, Sterling, and Azalea. So once you start with Amethyst, you can't go to Bob or Joe. You have to kind of go crazy. So anyway, so these are my pride and my joy, why I get excited to be here today. So so as I was building my education company, I found out that I was having a lot of trouble getting hold of people and trying to get finding the right people. And so I ended up using LinkedIn, and that was my ticket. And since then, I've been able to connect to over in excess of 25,000 people, 7,000 plus are C-level executives or higher. I think like 50 New York Times bestselling authors, and a couple. I think I'm connected to 5 billionaires now, and some different people. But basically, it's about building the relationships and stuff. At the end of the day, quantity doesn't necessarily matter, but it does help. So quality at the end of the day is what's important. So. And then these are some magazines I was quoted in, all that fun stuff. I wrote for Huffington Post for a while, Coach Magazine, and Authority Magazine. Anyway, who this will benefit real quick, just starting out, average users and semi-experts. And so that's who we're going to go through with today. All right, warning, I do talk really fast. I get excited. And so I may spit on you, but luckily you've got the webcam, so we're safe. So you're safe, not a live presentation this time. So, all right. So what are some of the important things that can create profit? Leads are very important. So does your company need more leads? So that's one thing here. I think this is Dr. Mike. He's one of our chamber folks, I think, or I saw him at a meeting once anyway. Obscurity leads to shortages. So do you suffer from obscurity? People need to know you exist and your business exists, and that's super important. So that's one of the pieces to the pie. This is, the buyer's journey, and what a lot of people don't realize is only about 1 to 2% are ready to buy today. So that leaves a large percentage that aren't ready today. And so how can we capture those people and build relationships and get them to think of us as their first stop? Instead of just going to Google when they want to buy. So we need to build those relationships, make those connections prior to when we actually need those people. So I always say, build your network before you need it. All right, stay back at least 6 feet. Don't act like a dog. And this is dumb, over-aggressive girl head, not just a funny thing I made up for my kids because we have crazy kids, so we have dumb things. But what that's talking about is those people on LinkedIn that when you log in and they send you a connection request, and all of a sudden it's like, boom, buy my product, buy my product, buy my product. And you're like, I don't even know you yet. I need to like you and trust you first. So don't be that person. That's a big tip is one of the biggest problems on LinkedIn is people just out there just spamming people and just going crazy, and you got to stop doing that. So a couple quick things. If you have your smartphone, what you can do is you go to the LinkedIn app, and you can actually, in the little search bar, there's a little crazy little QR button, a little funny square. So you tap that, and then you can literally scan the one person's phone on top of the other phone, and you can connect at LinkedIn. So you can have a hands-free experience when you're networking. So when you're out and about at a chamber meeting, you can just scan it by clicking this in LinkedIn app, My Network, and then search this little search bar, the little QR code there, and you can connect there. And then if you want to get really fancy, and this is an awesome thing. So say you're in a networking group at a chamber event, and you can actually walk through people going to the LinkedIn app, click on My Network, and then there's a little blue plus on the side. So My Network, little blue plus, and then you can hit Find Nearby. And then if everybody does that at the same time, the entire group can connect to LinkedIn at the same time. So that is a super awesome tool. Sometimes I'll go to networking events, and that's actually my commercial, is I just show people how to do that. You know, you walk out with 20, 30 connections. So it's a pretty slick deal there. Okay. And then if you want to get super duper extra fancy, oh, actually I got ahead of myself. That's my next slide. So sanitizing your list. So if you do end up with those, you know, outdated paper cards, you know, I'm just kind of kidding, but you know, you got just the regular business cards. Well, what do you do with those? Well, you go home or while you're at the meeting, and you go to Evernote, and they have a little business card scanner, and you scan it. And the nice thing about it is if LinkedIn email address on the card or matches with the LinkedIn account, it'll give you a little button, and you can just hit connect to the person on LinkedIn. So that's a little tip. So with all those business cards, you have something to do with that. And you can also, from Evernote, you can also import it into most CRMs. And then the most super duper cool fancy thing, this is a new exclusive thing that our company has, but basically it is a business card that uses the same technology as Apple Pay. And you just touch the phone, and then it pops up on your screen. And so so it's hands-free. You just you don't actually have to touch the phone. You just get it really close to the phone, and it just zaps your website onto the phone. And then you have a button there for connect to LinkedIn, or you can do text or whatever else you want to do, or you can, you know, door knockers can use these, so you don't have to touch their tablet. You just touch your own phone and get all your work done. It's just an amazing product. So that's a new technology for 2020, NFC chipped enabled business cards. So that's a cool way to get your LinkedIn onto somebody's phone. All right. So how do you, all right, refresh there. All right. So is your business on a ventilator, or are you able to pivot and prosper? And this is one way to go about that, is utilizing LinkedIn to its fullest capabilities. So, so get healthy, do the pop-up test. So what's the pop test? Basically, this little acronym that I have here: polish, have professional pictures and content that make you look credible. Opportunity, what are the strategic advantage that your company offers? Problems, what problems does your company solve? If you can build those key components into your LinkedIn profile, you will help create more of a magnetic effect and actually draw people into you, as well as you have the opportunity then to do outreach, and your conversion rates will be higher because you look credible. And I can't overstate how important that is. Okay. No self-quarantine party pics, please. I don't know why, but I see the craziest pictures on LinkedIn. Make sure that you have professional pictures so that you can create more profit by being more accessible to people. Image is your ground zero on LinkedIn. And basically, Dan, he's a local guy in, I think, Lakeville, or Elk River, actually, that took my pictures, but he did an amazing job. But I don't know, have any of you heard of Photofeeler? Okay, I always forget we're on webcam. I get excited, I want to interact. So if you take a look at the one where it only got the low scores there, that was my first LinkedIn picture, or I think it was my first one that I ever checked anyway. And you can see my competency score, my likability, and my influential scores were super low. And then on the right-hand side with the blue shirt there, I upgraded and I went to like JCPenney and had a picture taken there. It was a little bit better. But all of a sudden I went to Dan, and then my influential scores jumped up into the 8.5 and 9 figures, just because I took the time to have a professional picture taken, and the perception of me is much higher. So this is a website where it's free if you vote, and then they can kind of help you gauge how people are judging your photos by looking at them. So photofeeler.com is a great little tool to throw your profile picture up and see how people are reacting to it. All right, update your background photo. You don't have to keep the blue background on LinkedIn. It's okay. You can actually upgrade that. So you want to do that. So you want to customize that, and preferably with some sort of call to action so that you're drawing people in. And, you know, with your content, you don't necessarily want to be selling all the time, but on your profile page, you do want to lead people to you and try to, you know, showcase what you do offer, and you can help them out. And you can do that free at canva.com, and there's other websites out there now that'll do that as well. And you can design your background for pretty inexpensive, or for free basically, and just upload that and off you go. So, all right, what opportunities do you present? So you want to make sure you are listing the opportunities that you provide. Oh, slow down. All right. Okay, so in your headline, so are you heading towards prosperity? So you want to say, I help blank do blank by doing blank, basically. So, or X by Y to Z. But I help clients raise capital, develop policy advocacy, expand the client base to make more money. That's one of the best types of headings out there that will convert the highest. The second highest is where you basically do kind of like a bullet point, where you got like digital strategists and monetizing digital ecosystems, where you have kind of like bullet points so that the search engine optimization in LinkedIn can grab that and pull it down. All right. So is your body healthy? In your body of your LinkedIn, you want to make sure that you're breaking things out into easy to read nuggets. Because if you don't, people, when they see a big block of text, their eyes just kind of glaze over and they don't even look at your LinkedIn profile. So you need to make sure that you are breaking it up. You can use like little emojis or bullet points or different things. Sometimes lists can work okay. If you have a list of services, that's okay if you break it down, make it easy to read, so somebody can literally just glance at it and know what problems you solve and what opportunities you present for them to go to your profile. All right. So as you get deeper, you can actually upload little articles into each piece, and LinkedIn will allow you to actually add text to that. So you can actually go in, put something that's relevant to your industry. In my case, I was interviewed a bunch of times, so it has pictures of me, but it could be related to your industry, it could be related to your company, it could be related to you personally, but basically get those in there and then add words, the keywords that people will search and find you with. Okay. What people search determines how often you're found. So you want to make sure that you are optimizing your list with not just, but use common words. Don't say like, SEO ninja or guru or, all these fancy words. Sometimes people try to, or industry jargon sometimes is really not searched for very often, unless you're going for a job in that certain industry. In that case, yes, you want to put some of the jargon in there that people are actually going to search. But but you want to use common language so that you are found more often. All right. Great targeting means more money. So when I built my network, I said, okay, who are my dream clients, my ideal clients? What companies do I want to deal with in the future? What talent pool do I want to hire over the next 5 to 10 years based on my business plan? Who are my immediate mentors and collaborators? And who are my favorite authors and speakers? And those are the people that I targeted. And so if you can keep the majority of your contacts, now it doesn't mean you don't connect with other people outside of those areas, but keep that your core, and then build a little bit extraneous for the future. So in LinkedIn, you can utilize, there's several search features you can see. You can upgrade to Navigator. LinkedIn Navigator is about $70. There's a premium version that I don't think has enough features to really justify it, but LinkedIn Navigator will allow you to do more searching and has 80 plus search parameters. So based on companies, the size of the company, the titles, and a whole bunch of stuff that isn't in the basic search. But if you have the free, there are some ways you get around that by using what's called Boolean Logic. And so if you use quotation marks, it'll contain whatever you're searching for in that search. So if you want to do like chemical engineering specialist all together in a phrase, you can put quotes around it. You can use and with a capital A and D. So you can do like chiropractor and massage therapist or something like that. So you can search for two things. So the other thing you can do is you could do not. So say you want a chiropractor, but not a massage therapist. So you could say chiropractor, not massage. Say you're a massage therapist looking to work with a chiropractor. You could search that way and use that not to exclude massage from the searches and narrow down your searches. You can also use or. So if you want a chiropractor or dentist or practitioner, or say you want all guys, so you could say Jeff or John or Bill or Bob. And you can make strings like that, and then you can search and narrow down your searches to what you want, and then go to town and find those people. Okay. All right. So here's a really cool thing you can do. A quick start for a lot of people. If you're just getting started, you can actually go to Home, My Network, More Options, and you can actually invite by email, or you can actually import a CSV file from a email, like a Gmail or Outlook or something like that. So you can actually import all those in, and then it'll allow you to send connection requests to anybody in there that matches a LinkedIn email address. Okay. So if you want to get into a company and you're just having trouble getting into it and you just kind of want to break in, you can go to hunter.io and it'll basically show you a whole bunch of verified email addresses that you can grab. And you can grab those email addresses and you can go back to that invite by email I showed you and invite those people by email. And say you invite 10 people from Microsoft and maybe 3 of them accept your connection request. 30% is a pretty good connection rate. So 3 of those do. And then what you can do is go back to them and say, hey, Joe, I really appreciate you connecting. Hey, I'm trying to find the person, track down the person who does HR in Minneapolis. Do you know who that person is? And if they do, you go back and you say, hey, Joe said you're the person to talk to. Is he correct? And you kind of get an inferred referral into that company. So kind of a little trick. Boom. All right. So because of time, we're going to skip the Q&A real quick, and I'm just going to blow through here. All right, so how do you launch profitable invitations? So basically you want to tell them what you want to find commonalities, and you want to define the purpose and be willing to offer help. So this particular, if you want to snap a picture of it or something, I guess it's going to be recorded, but I think it's also on my free LinkedIn marketing cheat sheet, but you can go to Open Connect with other top business professionals looking to learn, network, and hopefully collaborate in the future. Let me know if I can be of service. So basically, open to connect. I don't know why it is a magic word. It puts the ball in their court and they're more likely to connect to you. It does work very well. There are other ones that work good, but this one has worked by far the best for me. All right. So these are a few things I'm not going to cover. I'm going to skip through those, but there's tons and tons of strategies, everything from, starting a conversation from a birthday wish to a sale, using comments, how I track down Forbes 500 list, all kinds of things you can do. And so here's some actual results. I'm just going to go through this here. Personal stories naturally garner more traffic. Video is huge on LinkedIn. Anything you can do to get video on LinkedIn, that is the way to go. You do want to load it natively. If you load YouTube videos, you get penalized because they don't want you to leave LinkedIn. They want you to stay on LinkedIn. So never use links in your posts. If you do want to use a link in your post, do your post first, and then say something like link in comments, and then put your link in the comments. Now, if you want to get really tricky and fancy, an hour after the algorithms processed that, you can go back in and go down into where the comment is and click on the little haystack button next to it, and you can say copy the comment. You can actually take that link and then post it into LinkedIn. So it's still an internal link within LinkedIn, okay? So you can, and then you can basically do that. So you can actually put that link to the comment right in your post after about an hour, because you don't want to mess up the algorithm. Like your own post and pose questions to encourage conversations. Comment and tag a few influencers. And also it's cool to say basically, hey, I want to welcome my new connections, and then tag those people as well. And then basically you do that right away so that within the first hour, when LinkedIn algorithm is cranking away to see how many people they want to show this to, that people interact with your post, which boosts your visibility on LinkedIn. Okay, so here's a couple different examples of posts you can do, different things like this. You can also leverage other influencers or people on there and say thank you to people and kind of leverage each other's LinkedIn lists. Works really well. Thank everybody that likes your posts and ask a lot of follow-up questions. All right, let's see here. So you want to thank people for connecting, follow up on a commonality, offer to be helpful, and then offer to pick up the phone. The secret to LinkedIn is getting people off LinkedIn. It sounds silly, but you want to basically build a relationship. So you don't do that dog thing where you attack them and say, buy my product. You go and say, hey, thank you for connecting. You follow up with something from their profile that's interesting to them. So it's about them. It's not about you, it's about them. If you focus on their needs, their wants, their desires, then they'll be more open to talk to you about what you care about. So offer to be helpful, introduce them to somebody. Unsolicited, you know, you could do a three-way connection on, or three-way message on LinkedIn and introduce this person and say, hey, I see you're both in, you know, local chamber of commerce. I bet you could do some good networking together, and introduce those people together. And then they both like you better. And then, you know, later you say, hey, I know we've talked a few times. Would you mind catching a 15-minute virtual coffee? Or would you like to take a 10-minute break and chat on the phone for a few minutes? And then that's where the magic happens. Because by the time you get off the phone, everybody's like, hey, how can I help you? How can I help you grow your business? And you kind of get the spirit of reciprocity, especially if you've already added value to them without asking for anything. All right, so a couple suggested action steps. Make your profile pop. Follow, like, and comment 2 dream clients 4 days a week for 2 weeks, and then send them a personal invite. Now, this is when you're trying to connect to influencers or people that are very high in their industries, C-level people. If it's somebody that's you're already kind of at their same level, then you can usually just get away with just sending an invite. But if you're trying to get your dream clients or the Bill Gates or the Gary Vaynerchuk's people, you kind of have to be visible to them, 7 to 10 times, like I was talking about in that buyer's journey. You need to be seen 7 to 20 times before somebody feels comfortable to do business with you typically. And so you want to kind of get top of mind within their network and then send them that invitation, and you'd be more likely to get accepted. All right. Send 10 ideal clients. Thank everybody for connecting, and don't get overwhelmed. You can do this. All right. And if you're a company, you want to offer unified branding options across all of your employees. So that's something we do for companies, is we go in and we actually help, unify their banners across multiple employees. We help them grow their company pages, their showcase pages where they can showcase individual products, using branding options to promote the company, use groups to grow grow your brand, and fill your pipeline for your sales team. So you can even have people like us that actually go in and do everything for you, and we just book your calendar for you. So anyway, it's pretty awesome what can be done. Finding $50,000 in hidden profits is search for problems and then give answers. So in the search, you can actually search for the problem you solve. And a lot of times people are complaining about the problem you have, and you go in there and you save the day. Okay. So that's an amazing thing that you can do. Use LinkedIn events to drive infectious seminars. Basically, you can go into LinkedIn events and invite a ton of people to come check out a seminar. And so that's a great tool that you can use that LinkedIn has recently come out with. Create joint ventures, bundle products together. So if you can take, say, a landscaper and a mowing company, and you put those people together, they can basically cross-offer each other's profit and both grow their business. You can cross-sell or upsell. You can share if you have similar customer bases, you can share lists and cross-promote each other. And you can also upsell. And you can also, when you're in there and you are going, you can actually offer people, say, hey, I have this cool thing that you can download for free. Would you like a copy? And if they say yes, you send it to them, you put them on your list, and then in your email list, that's called a lead magnet. And then that leads to building a list, and then lists, as they always say, there's money in the list. And basically you start a progressive drip campaign where you're regularly being top of mind, just like the chamber does, where they're in your inbox and you can get good quality content and learn a whole bunch of cool stuff. And there's my crazy kids again, chalking on the sidewalk. And like it says there, have a good day. You can find me at jesstiffany.com, or obviously find me on LinkedIn. That's my #1 social media platform. And connect with me, and I do have a link I can send you for a free LinkedIn marketing cheat sheet, or answer any other questions that you might have. So thank you so much, and excited to be able to share with you today.
Jess, thank you so much. If anybody has any questions, please submit them in the chat. One question that came in, a balance of, you talked about sharing personal information, that's what gains traction. But many of us have personal LinkedIn accounts, professional LinkedIn accounts, and then a company LinkedIn account. Do you have any advice on the balance of how you grow your personal account versus your business account, and is there different content that you would share on those pages?
Yeah, and I guess what I meant by personal was more like, relating it to business. So say you had some struggles in your business, you could do a story about how you overcame that struggle, and people kind of grasp onto that emotionally. And so that actually can be shared on a business page too. I mean, depending if you're the owner, then yes. If you're maybe just an employee, or something, you might want to do something different. But there's different strategies. Company pages, you actually can do really well with. There's a new advertisement thing that LinkedIn does it's called a branding campaign, and it's a paid service. But basically, they just kind of show you all over the place, and then people find you there. But as far as content, you want to have things that are related to your company, but you also want to have information, things that are engaging. Occasionally, you even want to do something like where you grab something from, like, say, YouTube, and you got to make sure of copyrights and all that stuff. But you can download the raw video and upload it into LinkedIn. So say like when they're running to the finish line, and the first place guy trips and breaks his leg, and then the second place guy carries him across the line. But if you show something inspirational like that, and then relate that to business and say, even if your competitors fall, it's nice to lend a helping hand during a pandemic or something like that. And basically share that, because you already know that content is viral. So you already know that it's going to be well received. And so you'll get more traction for your company page, because people will like that, share it, and it'll be seen more often. So, and then you do want to put job openings occasionally and stuff like in there, but mostly you want to do stuff that's like informational, helpful, educational, things that are going to help people grow their business, and things that are going to benefit them. And then they'll want to be more likely to read that. You can also do some cross tagging now with LinkedIn. So you can actually tag companies in your posts sometimes, and things like that. So hashtags are really good too.
Okay.
What hashtags your customers are looking at, and use those hashtags in your post so that hashtag shows up in the hashtag list. So your company page will show up in that hashtag list. And then, so if you use like hashtag work from home, which is one of the biggest ones right now, or hashtag productivity, you'll be seen more often, because those are big, well-used hashtags.
Sure. Great. Well, we have 2 more questions we'll hit real quick, and then we can wrap up this morning. It says, can you share a bit more about how to get relationships off LinkedIn in this current environment to have a conversation offline?
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, the easiest is just basically say open to connect, and you do your little invite. And once they connect, you just say, thank you for inviting me. Next, what I like to do is I like to go in and endorse that person, because about half the time they're going to say thank you. And when they say thank you, then I can say, hey, I was reading on your profile, I really admire, XYZ, or hey, I just looked at your post on the economy that you wrote. I totally agree with it. Very cool how you said XYZ. And I bet it would be really cool if we picked up the phone sometime and had a 15-minute call. I think there's probably some great ways we can be of service to each other. But basically, you just kind of, you want to offer value, and you want to personalize your messages based on that person in some way. If you see, hey, I see you volunteer for Feed My Starving Children. I love that organization. Isn't it awesome? And then usually they'll say, yeah, it's pretty awesome. I've been volunteered 5 times. And then you say, oh yeah, I've been there a bunch of times too. Gosh, I bet we have a lot of other things in common too. Would you mind catching a 15-minute conversation? The other one I like to use is, I say, hey, I have like 25,000 connections, and I made it a point this year to have actual conversations with people in my network. And people are really open to they're like, oh, you want to actually, I'm a person that actually wants to know people in my network too. And typically that works really well.
Great. Some good tips there. One last question. In LinkedIn, what do you think about changing job title on profile to specialized job function?
Can you repeat that?
So in LinkedIn, what do you think about changing job title on your profile to specialized job functions? I assume this has to do with networking, maybe for employment, it sounds like.
Okay. So I do most of the emphasis on the about section and the headlines and stuff like that. The job title. So usually I like to leave that, like the sharing of it off, unless you're trying to cause people to engage with you. Because what you'll do is you'll change your job title and it notifies your whole organization, and then all of a sudden you got 250 congratulations. So at the point, so if I'm adding something and I want to sell, I turn that back on, because I turn that on and all these people say congratulations, and then I say, hey, thanks so much, man, you should really check out this product, it's absolutely
Okay.
But as far as the job, like if you're just looking for a job, I don't recommend that open to network thing that's going around LinkedIn necessarily. I think it kind of looks kind of cheesy, but yeah, I think you should say what like you said, what problems you solve and stuff like that. You should have your title in there somewhere, but I think you can lead with what you do or what problems you're solving, and then put the job title further deeper in if you're trying to get that searched for, if that makes
But
sense.
that's a good reminder that if you update your job title, it's going to notify everybody in your network. So
Yeah, there's a setting you have to turn off.
okay,
Yep.
good to know. So we'll wrap there for this morning. Jess, you should have all his contact information at MNU Digital. If not, he's listed. He's a member of the Burnsville Chamber, so you can go into our directory and get his contact information for follow-up. Thank you so much for joining us this morning and all this great information as we're trying to figure out how to connect in this virtual world. We will not have webinars over the next 2 Wednesdays, before and after Labor Day. We're giving everybody a little break. We will be back on September 16th, so please stay tuned for that topic and speaker. Again, these webinars are provided in partnership with the Apple Valley, Burnsville, Hastings, Lakeville, and River Heights Chambers of Commerce, and sponsored by Doherty, Melinda, Solfest, Hills, and Bauer Law Firm. Thank you for joining us this morning, and we hope you have a Chamber of Commerce day. Thanks.